Hey guys, what's up? It's Tom, and today we're going to be talking about taking photos of your jet. So I'm here with Allie. She's behind the camera. Say hi, Allie.
Hi.
And she's going to be helping us, taking us through some tips and tricks so that you can take the best pictures of your jets as possible. So number one, I would obviously encourage you to hire Allie or any of the other photographers that we work with here at International Aircraft Marketing and Sales, because they know exactly what to do, what they're looking for, what to do. It's going to save you time, it's going to save you money, and your pictures are going to look fire. We'll put some photos of Allie's work and Zach's work. They do a fantastic job. But if you can't do that, here are the tips that our marketing team, I sat down with them. We spend tens of thousands of dollars each and every month on marketing our private jets. And this is your first impression. This is your stop the scroll. So these are the tips and the things that they're gonna need to make your jet look the best that it possibly can. So when it comes to it, we're gonna look at some equipment that you wanna use. iPhone, at least be an iPhone 13 Pro Max, something. Like I've sent Allie that kind of stuff and she's made it look fantastic. So if you have to do it, make sure your iPhone's the best iPhone it could possibly be. Also equipment wise, wide angle lenses for your professional photographers. That's gonna be a huge thing. Look for lenses or people who have experience with real estate, both in terms of the staging of the aircraft, which we'll get into, and the shots that you're looking for. It makes a huge difference. So equipment wise, also lighting is going to play a role. We're going to take a look at shadows as we're going through the cabin, and an onboard flash or an off-camera flash. That could be very helpful so that you get an even photo, and so it doesn't have weird shadows or weird highlights, sunspots that are in the photo. So off-camera equipment could play a role. But again, if you don't have any of that and you just have a camera, we're going to show you angles. We're going to show you things to look for to get out, like PITOT covers, engine covers, like get that stuff out of the shot just to make it look a little bit better. Lighting tips. So even if you just have your camera on your phone, we're gonna get you the best shots that you could possibly get. So stick around. Here comes some of our best tips and tricks to make your photos look the best they possibly can be. All right, let's talk about what camera we're gonna use. If you got your iPhone 13, you're pretty much all set. Maybe you bring in some extra lights that are steady that, can fill it. Maybe you change the lighting with the shades, however you wanna adjust the lighting. But let's talk about the advantages of using a full frame camera or a mirrorless camera, DSLR, whatever you want to use. So here's our basis, that we're working with. It's got a really high megapixel, really high resolution. It's going to enable you to change a lot of factors. If you're looking at this, you're probably already a professional photographer. I don't need to tell you. So wide angle lens. This one is the Nikon. It's a 12 to 24 millimeter with a aperture of 1.4. This is 1.4 no matter how zoomed in you are. So that's kind of a big deal. Some might be lower aperture, but then as you zoom in, you'll see the aperture come down a little bit lower. So this is great for real estate photography. We'll provide a link for this one in the Nikons, but it's a wide angle lens to help the spaces look bigger. If you're working with an iPhone 13 Pro, try the different lenses. You've got the regular 1x lens, you got a 0.5 lens, that's the wide angle. Be careful when you're doing that though, because it can distort the face, give it a fisheye look. So move in, move away. You'll start to see when that distortion kicks in if you're using an iPhone 13 Pro, and you'll be able to just be right on the cusp of that so it doesn't look too fishy. It's like, oh, clearly they use a wide angle lens. So wide angle lenses are important. We also have portrait lenses. It's like a telephoto portrait lens. Like, the nice thing about this is you can get really zoomed in, and when you zoom into something that's close by like this, the stuff behind it starts to get blurred out, right? So you can do that normally with a regular lens like your iPhone, and you'd have to be like really close here, and the stuff gets blurry in the background. But if you use a zoom lens, you stand way far back, now all of a sudden you have that bokeh, that blurriness. It also enables you to get those nice close-up shots like in the cockpit without having to go like right up there. You can get close-ups of the avionics, the steering yoke. So the portrait lens is also a go-to. It's an extra bonus. If I was to pick out of all the three things here, the wide angle lens, the telephoto lens, and the flash, I'd probably go, and Allie, you can shake your head or not, but I'd probably go with the flash. Would be the first upgrade, because lighting is everything. So if you're in the back, in the lav or in a baggage compartment, the lighting, being able to use this, point it up, use this little bounce back so that it throws the light forward in an even way, that's the game changer, right? So if you have an on-camera flash like many do, I don't know how to pop it up, but usually these things pop up. If it was on, it would pop up. what this does is it throws a harsh light straight ahead. That's where you get all the ugly shadows. That's where you get the ugly blue color on the flashes. So instead, you can hook on into the hot shoe this external flash. Now all of a sudden it's bouncing the light off so it casts it more evenly. So the flash is a huge deal when you're picking up, if you're a photographer, definitely bring in the flash when you're doing your jet photos. All right, let's talk interior shots. So we've got windows up or windows down, and the answer is both. For 90% of your stuff that, especially if you're just working with your camera phone, we're gonna keep the windows up so that we can get natural light. Natural light is your best friend. Now, okay, you can probably see what's happening right now. Lighting is changing. The sun's going behind the clouds. So these shadows, this area, you can see it's really bright here and a little bit darker. It's causing a little bit of a weird shape here. Now, when the sun gets out from the clouds, hopefully it'll happen. It's happening now. It's happening now. Okay, look at that. So you can see this is a terrible cast that when you're taking the photos, it's gonna be an issue. So what we can do, a couple things. One, we can close the window that's causing these casting shadows. And now, okay, you're like, well, now I don't have light on the photo. That's where the external light comes in, whether it's a bouncing flash on camera or something off camera, whatever you're gonna do. So you might be limited if you're just working with an iPhone. Maybe you take this shot and you send it to us, and our editing team can our editing team do something with Ali shaking her head?
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
So even if we have this and it's a little bit lower light, but it's even light, we can bring the whole thing up and it makes sense. Whereas if you have this spot, these casts right here, that's going to be an issue for the editing team, because now it kind of messes stuff up. So that's, as far as lighting goes, windows up. Unless you're getting this, then you might have to make some adjustments. If the photo is even too dark, we can bring it up a little bit, as long as we have good image quality, which most of the phones do. So let's move on. When you're taking photos of the interior, it's nice to get it open like this. It's also nice to get the executive desks out. Okay, make sure they're nice and clean. This comes to details. So a lot of the stuff is, being mindful of the little details. So we want to make sure this is clean. Now, this is a great area to start putting champagne bottles, magazines, iPads, laptops, so we can start to stage, when someone's going to be in the aircraft. So you can do one, you can do both. Executive tables is up to you, but yeah, executive tables is going to be a huge part of it as well. Don't forget to miss those shadows details. All right, so now you see I'm coming at you from a different angle. That's going to be important. When we do the outside, I showed you the eight angles that we're going to want from the outside. Now let's talk about the inside. We want to get one from the outside looking in, okay? If you've got, like a rug or something, like a welcome to the FBO, like that kind of adds a little pop of color. That's usually pretty nice. We're going to come in here. You're going to look back. Okay, we're going to get maybe 2 shots looking backwards, looking aft. Then we're going to turn around, get 2 shots looking this way, looking forward, get a shot of the lavatory, and we'll show you how to make that lavatory look absolutely wonderful. You want to spend the entire flight there. You also want to get this incoming shot, so not from the outside, but from the inside, looking at this, whether you have a barrel chair here, a divan here, you want to get a nice photo of. And I know it's going to be really tempting to take that vertical photo, okay, but you better get one horizontal as well. We'll show you how to kind of maybe bring it a little bit closer. We can open up a few things if you got some stuff in there. This is a good staging point for cocktails or something. So on the interior, we're also going to go to the cockpit. We'll show you how to get photos back there. So again, it's going to be 1, 2 facing, 3 facing aft, 3 facing forward, desks in, desks out, and then you're going to get cockpit shots, close-ups, and also the refreshment stand and there as well. Let's talk about the little details. Is that bothering anybody right now? Kind of taking your attention away from me. And that's what happens in your photos. When you don't pay attention to the little details, you're afraid you're going to break something. Just to ask somebody, hey, can I pull this out? No, I'm just kidding. But ask if you can move some stuff. Take off the PITOT covers on the outside. Remove the chocks from the wheels. A lot of guys have sunshades on the cockpit. Take that out of there. Like, get these little details nailed down. I've had photo shoots with umbrellas in the background, snacks, blankets, and it's distracting. So make sure you get rid of these distractions. Add your own distractions, and that would be when you start to do staging, whether you add a magazine, champagne bottles, whatever have you. So these little details make a big difference, and you don't want them taken away from the rest of your photos. Let's talk about bathrooms, lavatories. All right, so one of the big questions I get, especially in the lighter jets, is where's the restroom? Where's the lavatory? And so it's important to show it, believe it or not. You don't have to show everything. I wouldn't open up the lavatory. I mean, you can take those photos for the broker so that he or she can send the picture later on, but for your main marketing ad, don't throw pictures of the toilet that's opened up. So you're gonna shoot a couple of different ways. I'm gonna show a couple of different ways you can shoot this. So number one, we want to flash, or we want to get as much light in here as possible. When you get light in here, here's the danger: it's going to cast shadows because there's a lot of edges to cast shadows. So the bounce light is really your best friend in that situation. You're going to want to take it from, you know, from the corners, and I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about there. There's really not much back here, but you can accent, you know, if there's a coat rack, accent coats there. You know, just kind of make it, you only need 1 or 2 pictures, right? So make sure that you get good photos with good lighting. Now, take a look here. This is how, now I'm not a professional, this is how Allie was recommending that we take the photos. So we're gonna take them from right here, right? We're gonna take them at an angle. It's gonna create a little bit of depth. We're gonna shoot upwards with the flash so that it casts an even light down, and we're good to go. We also can take, sometimes she'll go down here a little bit lower. That's another angle you can do. And then you just do the same thing, you know, over here on the other side. You know, for example, here we have a life vest back there. I'd probably take that out. You know, again, it's the little details, but shooting the lavatory from the angle, not up here, not down here, but like from the angle. You can even, this is another thing, we can even get some, when we're taking photos, whether it's the lavatory or just the back, it's okay to have a little something in the foreground. You know, we can have just a shade of it coming through, and it adds a little bit more depth to it, so make the pictures look bigger. Let's talk about the cockpit. So first of all, get anything off of the windshield, like the sun visors. Like, I know it's gonna be hot, but it's all about the art at this point. So make sure that you're not taking photos of the cockpit that have your sunshades in front of them. It's not a good idea. Little tiny details. Maybe the wind's blowing and all of a sudden your yoke's like this. So when you take the photo, it's like, rant. We want the ailerons to be nice and level. We can get close-ups of the yoke if that's like a really, if it's got a cool little etching or graphic there. If you've got nice little EOS masks, you know, we can highlight those. Obviously any avionic upgrades, we've got a 750, 650 here, so we're gonna get close there. You wanna take a wide so we can see the whole panel and someone can just kind of see the overall layout, and then we're gonna get closer. We're gonna take a look at the screens, you know. We're gonna try not to be, and you can probably see herself in the camera right now, so we're gonna try to go from the side, right, so that we don't see ourselves in the photo. So that's like a little tiny detail that makes a difference there as well. And the nice thing, you know, professional photographers, you know, when you zoom in, it just kind of shows a quality, a cleanliness. This cockpit is clean. It has not been sitting. It's not dusty. If it is dusty, clean it, because if you zoom in, you're going to see all that dustiness. So yeah, those are kind of the main points that we're looking at when it comes to the cockpit. All right, let's talk about taking photos on the outside. Now you'll notice right now I'm not squinting too much, but the sun is up top, it's behind a cloud. Look how nice and even. I mean, it's not perfect, but the shadows are definitely not as bad as they could be. With all the sun, we get a lot of shadows. So how to take a photo of the aircraft. Most people will do this. They'll shoot it where they stand, take a photo, and that's that. Now, I'm gonna recommend to you, come down a little bit. Now the plane's gonna look a lot bigger. We're gonna look at this on the inside just a second. All right, so let's take a look at those photos. So here's the first one we took. Not bad, it's okay. But when we crouch down a little bit, now all of a sudden we have a lot more of a range that makes it stop the scroll. Our goal is to stop the scroll. Now, a couple of things I would say in here. You know, this is where we get really nitpicky. I've got planes in the background. They might be distracting. You're like, oh, what's that? That's a weird looking plane. It's a Piaggio, you know. Chocks, you can remove them if you want to, if you can. PITOT static covers, definitely take them out. Sun covers, definitely take them out. Okay, even closing the door makes a difference. It depends on where you're at in the shoot. Sometimes you put a rug there that features everything. So, but just that little difference between if we're at eye level versus just crouch down a little bit. So definitely the lesson there is crouching down. And let's go talk about the different angles of shots that we want to get. All right, let's real quick talk about the 8 shots that you're going to need. You're going to do, you're going to start here. You're going to do a 45 angle in the front. You're going to walk over the wing. You're going to do a 45 angle from the rear. You're going to get a tail shot. Then you're going to go on the other side, 45 from the rear, wing, 45 from the front. And if you want a nose shot, you can get that as well. So I'm going to show you right now, without talking, exactly what those are going to look like. So let's go. 45 from the front. Again, I'm nice and low. Get a photo. Also over here. Now on the wing, sometimes I'll come out here a little bit, you know, so it's not straight on, because it can be a little flat if you're just straight on. If it has winglets, you might also be a little bit of an angle there. But you know, straight on right here, it's just like a nice, it's a profile. It's not going to stop the scroll, but it's going to show the buyer what they want to see. So that's the other important thing, not just about creativity, but what does the buyer need to see? You know, they want to make sure that the plane looks right from the side. Come back here. Always be mindful what's behind the aircraft. So I'm going to get a picture of the tower behind me. We're going to have planes behind me. So again, location is going to be important when you stage the plane to actually get filmed. Now this might be a good time to get a shot of the engines, thrust reversers. This is a great shot to get the thrust reversers. You can go on an angle. You can also do direct on. Now, and then here, direct on reusable. Start over there. Over here. Back here, we're going to just come down a little bit. Tail and sky. You can see the hangars behind me. Tail and sky is exactly what we're looking for. Thanks for that shot on this. And then you just do the whole thing. And then you see the whole thing all the way around again. So those are the 8 shots that you're going to want from the outside. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I look forward to listing your aircraft for you with some amazing photos, whether you hire a photographer or you bring somebody in and they just use this video as a reference, because maybe this is the first jet that they've ever photographed. There's some tips and tricks that will be very, very important for them. So if you want more information, I've actually got a PDF down below that's all these tips, but they're printed out, so it's easy to follow. And I'd love to connect with you some more. If you have any questions, you connect with me online at Tom Lelio, or you can call or text me at 941-216-1246. Thank you.